Louis, I just start with a confession about this series of music, and I tell it in German. It's about you. Als der Intendant der Alten Oper mich fragte, ob ich gerne eine Jazzreihe kuratieren würde im Mozart Saal, diese Jazzreihe, deren Gäste Sie heute Abend waren, habe ich gedacht, das wäre eine wunderbare Gelegenheit, endlich mal Louis Sclavis in die Alte Oper zu bringen. Hier ist er also.
I am sorry, I don't speak German, I just speak bad English, so we will try to discuss in English, and he will translate for everybody.
Well, anyway, we will pitch in together. Yeah. Louis, if you should find a name for the music you were playing tonight, would it be the name jazz?
No, it's Louis Sclavis music. You know, because it's not pretentious, but I compose now since almost 50 years. So I can say now that the music when I compose and when I make a special project like this project, you know, with a special musician, I work quite hard to compose this project, and I can only say that it's my music, you know. And it's jazz because it's not classical music, it's not folk music, it's not rock music. So at the end, you know, what is jazz? Jazz is the music you play when you try all the rest. And so, and I like this. It's not, you know, it's positive. And you know, what is interesting when you play jazz is you can make your own identity. You know, you can say, I am this, I am that, I come from here, I come from there. And you can change your identity when you want. And so, anyway, it's my music, but it's in the jazz stories, yeah.
Louis, the first time that I heard you playing on stage was a long time ago. We were quite much younger then. It was in 1984. Yeah. And you were playing with a band called the Workshop de Lyon.
Yeah, I started to really play as a professional in 71. So yeah, and I start with the Workshop de Lyon because I live in I am from Lyon in France. So I start with this group in 74, and I played during 14, 15 years with this band. Yeah.
And well, do you think that your music has changed since these times?
Yes and no. I am always the same, and the way I compose, the way I work the music is almost the same. It's collective, because I am a leader, and I make a project under my name. But at the end, the main work is collective work with musicians. And before I compose music, when I make a new project, I choose the musician. For me, it's the really starting point is the musician. And sometimes people ask to me where your music come from, what is your inspiration. It's first the musician I choose. You know.
The musician means you begin to create a sound.
Yeah.
This is the first step.
Yeah, because I compose, but very, very quick I need to work, to rehearse with the musician And it's during the rehearsal, the music really comes, and the real composition comes from the band, you know, because everybody bring his own personality, his own culture, and for example, with Kevin Shemirani, I chose him because I know when I chose him that I would be obliged to compose different. And it was very exciting for me because I never did a band with a percussion player before. I used to play with a lot of drummer, but never with this kind of percussion. And for me, the music, you know, came from the sound of his percussion. And if I did the same project with a drummer, I will not compose exactly the same songs. You know. So for me, the musicians are the main point for my music.
And I think so. Silk and Salt Melodies is something about sound already. You can't do Silk and Salt Melodies with perhaps with an electric bass.
No, it's impossible.
And or as you said, with a drum set, impossible. So you...
No, it's this music. It's every time when I make a project, it's really for a special group of musicians, and the music was composed specially for this this group, you know. So perhaps if it's, you know, I can play this music with a different piano player or different guitar player, perhaps, but not with another percussion player, you know.
That means Kaivan is a very central person for this project, huh?
Yes, he's one of the center. It depends of the composition. For every, because every composition needs a different center, you know. So sometimes it's a piano player, sometimes it's Kevin, sometimes it's more Gilles Coronado, and sometimes it's me also.
And in earlier projects, you often used also soprano saxophones. This would also be impossible in the frame of this project, huh?
No, I don't. I play not so much saxophone now for two reasons. The first reason is I have so much to do with clarinet, and I have lot to do with clarinet, you know. And more I getting old, more I have to practice and to be concentrated on the, you know, on the clarinet. And the music, I think, is more for, you know, the mix with piano, percussion, guitar, and clarinet for me is, I can hear it. But with soprano saxophone, not so much, you know. And the second reason is I am a little bit tired to carry a lot of things, you know. Because now I have the perfect case. I have just a case I put in my bag. There is a bass clarinet and the B-flat clarinet inside. And I have free hands. And it's, you know, after 45 years of traveling, at least I have my two hands free. And it's a real pleasure for me, you know. So I don't really need saxophone.
Just one more question about, it's Louis Sclavis music you're playing since you have been playing for 45 years. Yeah. Do you think there is something very specific French stuff in this music?
No, specific. No, I think that there is a lot of musicians in France because the jazz scene and the music scene is quite good, and there is a lot of young musicians who make very original music very strong, and it's happened a lot of things around the music in France. But I don't want to say that there is a French jazz or German jazz, or it's more, and even not European, because I know some musicians in States or in South America or in Finland or in Japan who are in the same mood, you know. So I can say that in France, for the moment, there is a lot of very, very good young musicians, too much, because it's not so easy to find concert now, you know, because there is less and less money for the art, and more good musicians, so there is a problem. But anyway, there is a lot of very good things from musicians in France, but I cannot say when I hear the music that it sounds French, you know. Perhaps with Stéphane Grappelli and Django Reinhardt at that time, perhaps there was something like a French sound or French touch, but I am not enough nationalist to speak about French jazz. I just prefer to speak about even music for now, you know. And, because there is a lot of crossover today. For example, I work a lot with baroque musicians. And I did a special project, and we play in baroque festival, in baroque music festival. And there is a lot of bridge now with baroque music and jazz, or with classical musician, rock musician, everything. It's, you know, and this is not always good, because you need to really work a lot to have when you make a bridge between different music, you have to work a lot and long time to create something very special. But it happens. There is a lot of things like this in Europe, you know, in everywhere, in Italy, you know, and you know, it's very good. The problem is always the same. The problem is the money, because it's happened not a lot of things in Spain, for example, but there is not a lot of jazz festival for European musicians in Spain. And in Italy, there is less and less money now, so it's more and more difficult for musicians there to create, you know. And in France, it's not so good, but we still have some money from the government for the art. It's why there is, you know, a lot of music, creative music in France, more than in, you know, some other country, because there is more money. That's it. It's a question of money.
So you think that it's for the quality of the music and the musical development, it's really important that you get money from cultural, from the state, from cultural funds.
Yeah, it's very important. It starts in 81, you know, when the left win in France with François Mitterrand. And at that time, we had a very, very good minister of culture, you know, Jacques Lang. And he decided, it was the first time that he decided to give money from government, not only for classical music, but for rock music, for folk music, for jazz music. And it was a vision of what will happen the 20 years after. And during 25 years, it was quite good for all the art, and especially the live art, like theater, dance, and in France it was very, very fantastic. But now it's coming back, and there is less and less money, because it's everywhere the same, you know, because of crisis, but not only. It's because the political you know, the politics in France, they are not interested a lot into art or culture. For example, I never hear even François Hollande, or I never hear Macron speaking about art. Never. Never. I don't know what they read, what they like to hear, what if they go to theater, what they like. And it's, you know, it's pity because some years ago, even Jacques Chirac was more interesting into art. It's not question of right or left. It's question of person. Mm-hmm. And today, I don't know political guys in France who are who can really speak about culture and who could have an idea of what will happen the next 10 years, for example. And we need this. We need some people who have a vision for the next 20 years, you know. If it does not happen, we will lose a lot of things.
So ignorant politicians are really a great danger for the cultural.
Yeah, they are ignorant, and I think it's more than ignorant. I think that they don't care. They don't care, and so we really have to fight now to you know, to say we are here and the people need culture, you know, and it's very easy to say no, the culture we don't need. We need cars and I don't know, planes and but not. But and in France, the economical the culture it's a very important economical things, you know. It's the culture brings a lot of money for France, you know, because there is a lot of festival. There is people for everywhere in the world who are coming in France for some big events or even small events, but they come in France because they know that they can hear music and the theater and dance and. But less and less, and Paris now is not a big town for art like it was 20 years ago. Today, Paris is no more a really big capital for arts, you know. But for me, the best public is not demagogic, but I say since many years, the best public for music is in Germany, really. Yes, no, and it's not to make a demagogy, but because there is a big, you know, when you play on stage, you can really understand the public in front. You understand what they hear, and in Germany, the music is like a language. For people in Germany, the music means something. In France, it's different. It's more the literature who means something. You know, the literature is something important, but the music in France is more like entertainment. Even if it's a serious entertainment, it's not a real language. And for the people, when you play, you don't really say something. It's just music. But you can really feel in Germany, and you feel exactly the same in Africa too. In Africa, when you play, it's like if you speak. Somebody who plays in Africa is somebody who speaks, who tells something. So you have really to play right and to tell the truth. Because if you are not honest when you play, the people feel it immediately. And, you know, it's not good. And it's why I really like to play in Germany. And I am not the only musician who says this. Many musicians in France say the same thing than me, that there is something very important for us when we play here, because it's something serious, you know, and we feel it, and it's like a speech, you know, when you play. You say something to the people. And so I really appreciate this when I play in Germany. and in Austria too.
And I think they, also it's also you have to deliver something very serious to be accepted here in Germany.
Yeah, you have to. But since I started, I am serious, because I have not the choice. I have no choice. If I have not serious, I don't feel comfortable with myself. Sometimes I am too much serious, but it's, my son, when he was young, told me one day, you are too much serious. Okay, I am too much serious, but I am still here.
Okay. Dies ist ein schönes Schlusswort, finde ich. Louis Sclavis ist immer noch hier. And you'll go on playing your music, I hope. Thank you very much, Louis Sclavis.
Thank you everybody.